Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you for clicking on this video, and you're probably wondering, Scott, what do you think about the Galaxy S23 after using it for a day? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm returning it, but it's not for the reason you think. But in this video, I'll give you my honest thoughts about what I actually thought of the device after using it for essentially 24 hours. Ran into some issues and had to return it, but not because of the actual device itself. Well, it is because of the device itself, but it's not because I don't like the device, it's because of a defect. So I dealt with it and I'm returning it as a result of that. So stay tuned, I'll give you my honest thoughts on the S23 in 2023, but towards the end of the year, so I don't know, it's 8-9 months after the phone came out, somewhere around in that time frame. So I'll talk about, just caveat this, I've used the device for a day, so obviously my review, take it with a grain of salt. Sample size, it's pretty small. So I'll talk about, cameras, the limited time I had, talk about the speed and performance of the device, I'll talk about the design, and maybe a little bit of battery life, but that one's a little tough because technically these phones, reallocate battery efficiencies after it identifies your usage pattern. So technically it didn't learn my usage pattern fully. Anyway, we're gonna get to that. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it.
Before we hop into the Galaxy S23 thoughts, guys, this video is sponsored by me. I just wanted to throw this quick tip. If you guys are looking for smartphones out there, definitely check out mercari.com. Also download the mobile app on Android and iOS. You can buy smartphones on here used and new condition from reliable sellers, and it's one of the methods I've used in the past in order to get review units on this channel. So quick plug for Mercari. I was not paid at all by them to say that. That was literally just out of the kindness of my heart. It's one of my favorite apps I use to just buy used tech. So definitely check it out. Highly recommend it. Okay, people, so let's hop in to some of my thoughts on the Galaxy S23 series. So let's start off with, like the basic stuff, like the hardware of the device. When I first took it out of the box, I could tell right off the bat, like we're dealing with some premium tech right now. Had this nice, smooth, matte black finish that was basically sort of smoothed over glass. Nice matte finish, I already said that. But it felt really nice in the hand. It was a little bit sharper than my old S21 in terms of the edges, a little bit sharper on the corners, probably more similar to iPhone's design currently. And other than that, like the design, in my opinion, hasn't really changed too much from the past couple of years S-series lineup. The only difference you could say, like the only way to tell difference is really around the camera module, where you see that each camera has an individual circle cut out as opposed to having this big, sort of module where all the cameras are housed in one. So they tried to, change the design, mix it up a little bit, make it more look like the old Ultra that came out either a year or two ago. Basically, take that design and move it over to the smaller model. So design, really compact, 6.1-inch display, fits in your hand really nicely, really no complaints of that. So I really liked the feel of the device. You could tell like right off the bat, this thing feels premium. So that's hardware. In terms of the software and the efficiency and the speed of the device, I could tell right off the bat, like this thing was so fast in my opinion. The 120 Hertz display, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, just that combination alone, the 8 gigabytes of RAM. I could add so many tabs open or so many apps open at the same time. Phone was like incredibly fast. Fastest phone I've ever used by far, hands down. And just to comment on that, Samsung animations are a bit lackluster in my opinion. Like they're a little bit choppy. The transition speed is very fast when it comes to opening and closing apps. It's not as smooth as on iOS. So because of that, it makes the phone like feel even faster because you have less animation time when you're transitioning from, page to page. So just want to call that out a little bit. But yeah, like the speed of this phone is absolutely unbelievable. If you're going out there and looking for a speedy phone, this is definitely one of them trick in my opinion. So obviously limited time use. However, That's what I noticed right off the bat, and it was like very, very obvious how fast the phone was right off the bat. So, that's sort of the speed of the device. Also, Wi-Fi connectivity was really solid. I was getting faster Wi-Fi on this device compared to my iPhone. So I'd say roughly 10% faster speeds. Roughly 10% faster speeds compared to my iPhone 13. So marginal increase. However, I think that's still somewhat significant. Let's talk about cameras. I did not, truth be told, I did not get enough time to spend with these cameras. I did some video tests, some photo tests. The versatility of these cameras is unbelievable. They also upped the megapixel count in this generation. I think it's 48 megapixel, 12 megapixel photo. I might be wrong with that. However, I noticed like photos were sharp, decent color, not as saturated as older Samsung phones for sure. They definitely toned down the saturation and contrast of the phone. You can definitely find that pixel lineup now. iPhones tend to kind of boost the colors a little bit more. It seems like it's kind of flip-flop. Samsung used to be the saturated phone camera. iPhone has kind of taken that over, so call that out. The video seemed fine, stable. I was really impressed with the telephoto lens, because basically I have like a thing over there, a little poster with text on it, and I zoomed in using the telephoto lens, took a photo of it, looked completely blurry in the viewfinder, and then when the photo finished processing, I took a picture of text. When it finished processing, it actually sharpened that text, basically making it readable human eye, which I thought, this is such a cool feature. And I'm sure other smartphones do that, but I just thought this Samsung phone exceptionally well when it comes to telephoto photos. I didn't really play too much around. Primarily stick to 1080p filming, and the front-facing camera I thought was fine as well. Sharp, although I did notice on Snapchat, the cropped image, I could clearly tell the difference between iPhones. It just was like really zoomed in on my, as opposed to iPhones, it's like normal ultra wide on the front facing. I don't know why it's like that on Samsung phones. I wish they would fix that. Battery life, didn't touch it too much, but I will say like it lasted me a full day, and the charging speeds were decently fast using my 35 watt charger. I believe it supports 35 watts of charging as well. Could be wrong on that. It could actually be 30 watts. I'll have to double check, but charging speeds are fast. Battery got me through the entire day, and I think that's solid because it's such a small phone. 3900 milliamp hour battery does the trick, and yeah, I mean, if I were to compare it to anything, I'd say it's like on par with my iPhone. Couldn't really see too much of a difference there. So I know people have raved about this battery. I wouldn't say amazing, I wouldn't say it's bad, it's probably good enough, lasts you through. And I was pretty heavily, updating the software, downloading apps, doing all that sort of, really putting stress battery. So, if I were to like sit here and recommend this phone to you guys, like without talking about the defects, the Bluetooth issues I was experiencing, this is such a solid phone. And smartphones have gotten so good now, so like I can't really nitpick anything anymore. The biggest nitpick is I had to send the phone back because it's working, but that's not, that's not every phone. Like that's just that's a sample size of one that has this defect. It doesn't represent the the entire lineup of the S23 series. It doesn't define how well this phone is because one phone is a defect. It's awful. If you're curious what that issue is, go check out my last video. So, S23, if someone were to come to me and say, hey, I want a solid Android phone, what do you recommend? I would not hesitate recommending this phone because it kind of checks all the boxes. Small, compact, really solid, versatile camera, really snappy, decent battery life, the software, I like it. I've used it for years. I think it's pretty intuitive. One UI has definitely gotten better over time. They really listen to the feedback they get. A lot of cool feedback. The one thing I don't like about One UI is the autofill feature when it comes to passwords. I don't know if there's a separate setting I was missing, but essentially every time I went to go autofill a password, I had to like manually select what account I was using. So for example, Fidelity, I would click autofill and then I'd have to scroll through my list of accounts I have on my phone, Fidelity account, and then it would work. As opposed to iPhone, just automatic, done. So I've been ranting for a long time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you want more of this fun content, just let me know. Comment down below your thoughts. S23, I think this is a good phone, and you guys should go pick it up. So that being said, peace out, everyone.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching another video on my channel. If you're interested, click over here to subscribe to the channel, and click over here for another amazing tech video review / tutorial. And yeah, thanks so much for checking out the channel. Appreciate all you guys. See you in the next video.